What do you mean the work ethic? Like, would they do long hours or?
Yeah, super long. As in, up until maybe the last 2-3 years, my dad literally worked every single day. He'd be working on the weekends. He'd be, obviously he's a lot more senior now, but it is like putting in the work, but also with us as kids. So outside of the job, they would support everything we did. My brother and I are both super sporty, and they would drive us to every single training session, every single match. At least one parent was at both. They would take us to piano lessons, like speech and drama, Gujarati school, like everything. Their life revolved around putting it into their children and giving us the best opportunities we ever could have got, which I actually think has made a difference to how we are as people now. So yeah, I didn't come from wealth. My parents worked really hard, but every single penny they made went towards their children.
Where does that respect come from? Because a lot of people disrespect their parents and say, well, it was up to you to do that for me, I didn't ask you to do that. A lot of people do disrespect, their seniors, and are finding that respect is going more and more. You're you're Gen Z, right? I
think I'm on the cusp.
Okay. How do you still instill them values into yourself that these are my everything, they've done so much for us? That gratitude.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. I think it comes down to the fact that everyone forgets it's your parents' first time being parents as well. So they're never going to be perfect. They don't always understand like the new generation or social media or growing up in this day and age where things might be a bit more liberal and less traditional. But my parents have always created an environment that is safe to talk about things, and definitely given us freedoms to do things that some of my South Asian friends didn't growing up. And as long as we were honest and we let them know where we were going or who we were with, they've always sort of let us do what we want. And I think it comes from like just having that mutual respect and honesty and transparency in the home, where they're giving us opportunities to try new things, and naturally you in turn like respect them for everything they're doing for you as well, because they're allowing you to do all of that. So it's definitely come with age as well. Like I'm sure I went through like a really teenage bratty phase like all girls do, but as I've gotten older I've definitely realised how much they've really done for us, and I would hopefully like to do the same for my kids one day.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear. So when was your first side hustle? So you're in secondary school now. Are you thinking about business, or are you just concentrating on your studies? What you going through?
I mean, I went through a really academic school, so you probably only really think about your studies and getting the grades when you sit your exams. But also sports was always my thing. It was never a side hustle in the sense that I was like making money off it, but it was the thing that I was spending all of my time and energy outside of school focusing on. So I used to play sports for various levels. I used to play like county netball, county lacrosse. I played hockey for the south of England. So when you have passions like that require a lot of dedication and commitment, I feel like that's when I started really realizing like when you're passionate about something, you can dedicate all of this time and energy to. And yeah, I was probably training like 7 to 10 times a week for about 5 years growing up at school, and that was really like my passion and my thing. But yeah, I never really made money off that. I never thought I was going to be a professional athlete.
Doing all of these sports, it obviously gives you, that discipline, that blueprint that if you're not training hard enough, it's going to show up in the match, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it looks like that's where you've picked all of them skills up from. So when was your first instance of working?
So when I was at university, in first year I did an internship. So it was basically after school, I sort of realised that I wanted to go down this sort of finance, business, banking route.
And what uni did you go to?
So I went to University of Nottingham, and I did economics and politics there.
And you moved out?
Yeah, I lived in Nottingham for 3 years. That was great fun. And yeah, that's when I realised, obviously I did economics and politics at uni, and I realised that I deeply care about things that are affecting the economy in this day and age, and obviously policy. And so that's when I decided I want to go into banking and finance. I also looked at it as a really financially stable career path, and obviously being brown, it's like one that's respected. And at the time you just think, okay, well, like a lot of people are doing this, so it makes sense for me. So in first year I did an internship. I worked in fixed income. I was looking at bonds. And then second year I did an internship, one in a bank, one at a Big Four. So I got an insight into commercial and private banking, and then also financial services. And then after that, it just sort of one thing led to another, and I got those internships converted into graduate schemes.
Wow.
Then I left uni with a job and I did a grad scheme for 3 years. So as soon as I sort of got my foot in the door in first year, it was like a domino effect of the kind of opportunities that it led to. And like by going into third year, so by the middle of second year, I'd already got 2 job offers for when I finished uni. So I never really questioned it at that point. I thought, this is incredible. I'm so lucky to have these jobs. Worked super hard at uni to make sure I got the grades, to make sure I got those jobs, and went from there.
And was the grad scheme a good one? Like, did you learn quite fast? Would you recommend them?
Yeah, it was incredible. It was truly the best stepping stone from university into a corporate job, because on a graduate scheme, obviously they all vary, but the one I did, it was for a big 4 firm, which means they have a huge intake of graduates. So you're with so many people your age who are in the same boat, have either just left uni or apprenticeship, so they've left school, and you're all studying as well at the same time as working. So we were studying towards the ACA, so we were becoming chartered accountants at the same time. And generally speaking, at these firms, your whole team is relatively young, and they want to teach you a lot and kind of give you the exposure and responsibilities from a young age. So I learned so much in those 3 years, so much. And I would definitely recommend them as for someone who wasn't 100% sure exactly what I wanted to get into. I feel like you get to speak to a lot of people and get to experience a lot of different things that can help guide you.